Here at the World Cup's room, the focus is on the men's national team. Their first World Cup was in 1930, and while the Brazilian male squad had already been three-time world champions by 1970, women couldn't even officially play. One of the first tournaments for women's teams from all over the world happened between 1970 and 1971, and it was named Mundialito. The most interesting thing is that its organization was independent, without FIFA's consent. Both Brazil and Argentina were invited to the tournament. The Argentinians accepted, but Brazil didn't even reply. Arranged later by the Brazilian Football Confederation, or CBF, Brazil's women's national team only came into existence in 1988. In that same year, the team took part in an experimental world tournament in China. Brazilian women won third place. Then came the first official FIFA Women's World Cup in 1991, also in China. And look, the event didn't even get to take the title of World Cup. FIFA, at the time, didn't feel like giving that much of a voice to a female competition. You know M&M's, the little bite-sized candy? Well, Mars, the factory that makes them, was the official sponsor of the event. And for that reason, the tournament became known as the M&M's Cup. After the competition was over and deemed a great success, FIFA backed down and finally agreed to call it the Women's Football World Cup. You see, it wasn't a championship with that much pump, right? All that pump of the men's cups, the pioneer female players who lived through it say they got into some nasty trouble to be able to eat anything, to communicate properly, and to adapt despite the cultural differences between them and the Chinese. All in a matter of days. Brazil also participated in the 1995 Women's World Cup in Sweden. The uniforms they used were leftovers from the men's teams in 1994 World Cup. Formiga was there, sporting the baggy shorts and huge jerseys that once belonged to the males' national team of 1994. The balls were also repurposed from the men's tournaments. The Brazilian women's team already included well-known names, such as Michael Jackson, Fanta, Elaine, Senira, and Pretinha. But it did not pass the group stage of the competition. Brazil won third place in the 1999 Women's World Cup by scoring a blasting 5-0 on Norway. We would have loved to show you a goal commentary from this game, but you can't imagine how difficult it is to find it. Cici was the big star of the game. Tânia Maranhão, Kátia Silene, Juliana Cabral, Michael, and goalkeeper Andrea Suntaki were also in the team. The 2003 Women's World Cup was special for Brazil, even though it came in fifth place. It was a debut cup of great players like Marta, Daniela Alves, Rosana Augusto, Cristiane, and goalkeeper Bárbara. 4 years later, in 2007, Brazil had an ace team. Unfortunately, though, we still contend with results that were almost there. We lost to Germany in the final game. Marta was the top scorer of the entire cup. More remarkable players were part of that team, such as former captain Aline Pellegrino, Érica Cristiano, Fabiana Simões, and Maurine Dornelles. Brazil beat the US in the semifinal by 4-0, and Marta scored a killer goal. Listen to the commentary of Luciano do Vale.
Brasil coloca na roda o time americano, 3 para o Brasil, 0 para os Estados Unidos. A Marta! Maravilha! Agora!
Brazilian women ranked 6th in 2011, but in 2015, our team fell out of the competition in the round of 16. Several players who ended up making history were already in the Brazilian group, such as Andressa Alves, Tamires, Andressinha, and Mônica. Then came the 2019 Women's World Cup in France, a watershed moment in the history of women's football. The competition had a record audience. According to FIFA, there were more than 1 billion spectators worldwide. Brazilian women were such fierce warriors, but ended up losing to France in the round of 16. The game was really exciting and had 59 million viewers, 35 million of whom in Brazil alone. Major TV channels like Rede Globo and TV Bandeirantes broadcasted the matches. The Brazilian squad has been in all the World Cups to date. The Golden Trophy hasn't been conquered just yet, but we are certain that it will come. Because we do have a lot of talent sprouting around here. And I'll tell you more about that in the next room.